They call it the Great Reset, a smooth transition, a shiny digital future, a world where everything is convenient, frictionless, and optimized. I call it the Great Lie. Not because I believe in cartoon villains twirling mustaches in a boardroom. Humans rarely coordinate that well. But because systems always do the same thing. They reward dependence and punish anyone who stays optional. If your money, your payments, your access, your identity, your safety, your comfort, all live inside one system, then you do not own your life. You rent it, and rent goes up. Here's the part people don't like. The biggest reset isn't a conspiracy. It's a slow drift. More digital-only everything. More fees, more terms updated, more services you can't use unless you comply. More situations where the answer is, sorry, the system is down. And when that happens, you'll learn the difference between wealth and numbers. They hate it when you play outside their sandbox. Because outside the sandbox, you don't ask permission. Today, I'm going to give you 5 financial moves that increase your independence fast. Not as a fantasy, not as a doomsday cosplay, as a practical, boring adult plan that works in normal life and works even better when life gets stupid. And yes, I'm a cockroach. I'm qualified. I've survived everything humans have done to this planet. Let's start with the first move, the one people argue about the hardest, because it's simple. And humans hate simple. Move 1. Own a small amount of physical precious metals. Not ETFs, not paper gold. Not a digital certificate that says, "Trust me, bro." I mean something you can hold. Now, before somebody in the comments starts frothing, I'm not telling you to dump your retirement into shiny rocks. Calm down. This is not get rich. This is stay solvent. Precious metals are not magic. They're not a lottery ticket. They're a non-digital store of value that historically survives inflation, currency resets, banking freezes, and the sudden human realization that maybe printing money forever has consequences. Here's the rule. If the thing only exists because a website says it exists, you don't own it. You're borrowing confidence. Physical metals give you a form of money that doesn't require a working app, a working bank, a working government portal, or a customer service chatbot named Aiden. How to do this without being weird? Small denominations matter. If you ever needed to trade, a giant bar is a brick with anxiety attached. Avoid scams. If someone is offering a deal, it's not a deal. It's a trap with a price tag. Storage matters. If you can't secure it, don't buy it. I hid it in a sock drawer is not a strategy. It's a confession. And listen, metals are not your whole plan. They're a piece, a hedge, a system failure reserve. You're building layers. Metals are one layer. Next layer is the one that makes institutions sweat a little. Move 2. Build a cash buffer outside the banking system. Humans love cashless. It feels modern. It feels clean. It feels like progress. Until the card reader is down. Until the network is down. Until your account gets flagged because an algorithm felt emotional that day. Cash is not old. Cash is offline. Now, be smart. I'm not saying keep your life savings under your mattress like a cartoon grandma. I'm saying keep enough physical cash to handle the first phase of a disruption. Think in terms of time. How long could you function if card payments stopped? If ATMs stopped? If your bank app became a loading circle of despair? A solid goal for many people is 2 to 4 weeks of essential spending in cash. Not for panic, for continuity. Practical tips. Keep a mix of bills. If you only have big bills, congratulations. You own paperweight money, store it safely, fire, flood, theft. Humans are talented at losing things. Rotate it, use it, replace it, make it normal. This isn't about hiding from society. It's about not being helpless when society's electronics take a nap. Now we move to the part where people get uncomfortable because it forces you to admit a truth. In a real crisis, nobody cares how valuable something is. They care how useful it is. Move 3. Invest in consumable goods with high barter value. Translation: buy things people need, use, and run out of. Gold is nice. But when the lights go out and the shelves go empty, the winners are the people who have essentials and the people who can provide essentials. I call these vice commodities and survival staples. Not because you're trying to be a villain, because humans are predictable. What has barter value? Hygiene items, soap, toothpaste, basic sanitation, basic medical and comfort items. Think practical, legal, common. Batteries, lighters, candles, water storage, and basic purification supplies. The boring stuff that suddenly becomes priceless. Shelf-stable foods with long life. Salt, sugar, staples, simple tools, and repair items. You're not trying to become a doomsday Costco. You're building a buffer and a trade option. One important rule: barter items must be things you actually use. If you don't use it, you'll store it wrong, it expires, and now you've invested in trash. Humans are phenomenal at that. Also, don't plan your survival on illegal stuff or fantasy trades. You're not writing a movie, you're building resilience. The goal is simple. If money loses trust, you still have value. Now let's talk about the most common way people sabotage themselves financially. They keep paying for a lifestyle they can't defend. Move 4. Eliminate high-interest unsecured debt. Debt is not just math. It's leverage. It's a leash. And the moment things get unstable, that leash gets tight. Credit cards, personal loans, buy now, pay later. All of it turns into the same sentence. I can't move because I owe. If you want freedom, you need a low monthly burn rate. Meaning, your required monthly payments should be as small as possible. Practical strategy. Start with the highest interest first, or the smallest balances if you need momentum. Automate payments so you don't forget and feed fees. Fees are a tax on being human. Stop adding new debt while paying old debt. That's not progress. That's cardio in circles. You're not doing this to be morally pure. You're doing it for flexibility. When income drops or prices spike or your job goes weird, the person with low obligations can pivot. The person with high obligations becomes a hostage to their own bills. And now the final move. The most ignored one. The one that makes you dangerous to any system. You become useful. Move 5. Invest in skills that outlast money. Skills are the only asset class that can't be frozen, can't be terms updated, can't be hacked, can't be stolen unless you're unconscious, and then you have bigger problems. Think like a survivor, not a shopper. High-value skills, basic first aid and emergency response, basic repairs, tools, engines, household fixes, cooking and food storage, budgeting and decision-making under stress, communication and planning, growing something edible, even small scale. Because in a real disruption, the most valuable people are not the ones with the fanciest gear. They're the ones who can keep things running. Your brain is the ultimate bug-out bag. Try to actually pack it with something useful for once. The great reset lie is that you're helpless, that you have to comply, that you have no options. The truth is, you can build independence in layers. A little physical value outside the system. Cash that works when networks don't. Useful goods people actually need less debt, fewer obligations. Skills that make you valuable anywhere. Whether the world stays normal or gets weird, this plan helps. They hate it when you play outside their sandbox. So, play outside it. If you want more survival finance that's practical, ruthless, and not sponsored by delusion, subscribe to the Cockroach Consultant. It's the only financial advice that's survived 300 million years. You're welcome.